And today, I believe that God is calling his people to assume a more aggressive attitude where the enemy is concerned. It is time for us to throw down the gauntlet ourselves. It is time to take the fight to the adversary. We know that he's coming after us anyway, so we might as well take up our armaments and launch a frontal assault. I don't know about you, but I am tired of the adversary backing me up and backing me up and backing me up and backing me up. I'm sick of it. I know that I can't turn and run because my armaments, my armor, according to the 6th chapter of Ephesians, only covers my front. If I turn, I'm exposed. So since I've got to fight, I might as well advance forward, forward, forward. It's time to take the fight to him. Now, there may be some who would caution us and say, Pastor High, please do not be foolhardy. It's a very dangerous thing to advance upon the devil's territory. But I contend and I submit to you today that the only territory the devil has is what he has seized or what he has stolen, and it is high time for us to take it back. I want you to recall the words of David, Israel's most illustrious king, in a prayer of unqualified praise. David said, "Thine, O Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the victory and the majesty, for all that is in the heaven and in the earth is thine. Thine is the kingdom, O Lord, and thou art exalted as head above all. Both riches and honor come of thee, and thou reignest over all." I wish somebody would just shout, "God reigns." And for those of us who don't know the vernacular, just say, "God rules." And if that doesn't float your boat, just say, "God is still the boss. He's still in control. God has it all, and he is in supreme control." That means the devil has no territory. He has no place except the place that we give him. He's an urchin. He's a usurper. He's a wanderer. And it is time that we back him up and cast him out. Cast him out of our church. Cast him out of our homes. Cast him out of our lives. As we make up our minds to become more militant, as we make up our minds to take the fight to the devil, God himself will come down and fight for us. Not only will he fight for us, but he will fight with us. You'll look to your right or you'll look to your left, and you will see a power coming at your enemy straight from heaven. God is saying, "I'm not gonna let you fight alone, but by all means, get ready to fight." Let me get back to the text. On that day that Joash visited the prophet, Elisha gave on that day 3 commands in the very brief pericope that comprises our text. Each command is significant in its own right. But of all of the commands, I believe that the second command, or the middle command, was the most important. And since I believe that is the case, please allow me to address the first and third command before I attend to the second command, the one in the middle. The first command was, of course, for the king to take up the bow and put his hand upon it. Elisha told Joash to take bow and arrow and put his hand on the bow. I'm going to say something to you. It is time for us to pull our hands off the plow and put them back on the bow. In other words, it ain't time to start farming. It's not time to go into other pursuits. It is time for us to get ready to fight. This is a year of battle. Did you hear what I said? 2010 is a year of battle. But do not be afraid, because battle only brings victory for us. This is a year of victory. Maybe I should have said that first. Look at your neighbor and say, don't worry about the battle, because you've already got the victory. Now tell your neighbor, you've already got the victory, because you've got the victor. Jesus said, in this world you'll have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Let me get back to this. Elisha placed his hands upon the king's hands. He covered the king's hands with his own. This signified that when that arrow was to be shot, it would be the act of prophet and king together. Elisha wanted Joash to know that the power inherent in that bow shot would not be the king's power, but that it would come from God himself. Elisha explained to the king that the arrow he was about to shoot was the arrow of the Lord's deliverance. God was prepared to deliver Israel from the Syrian oppression and from any enemy that would come against his people. In our text, the word deliverance is the translation of the Hebrew word teshuah. Teshuah speaks not only of deliverance, but it speaks of rescue. It speaks of help. It speaks of safety, of salvation, and of victory. Now, this word, teshuah, comes from the Hebrew root yasha, from whence we also get its cognate, Yeshua. Now, Yeshua in Hebrew means deliverance. But when Yeshua is transliterated into English, the characters Yeshua correspond to our English alphabetical letters as J, E, S, U, S.